discovered in 1985. The three scientists who discovered it won the Nobel Prize in 1996. I'm very proud to share our lab started manufacturing it in 1991, a full 5 years before they were awarded. And that is why we say that this ESS60 molecule is the boss buffering oxidative stress system. And ultimately, we believe we're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria. Instead of being toxic, the test subject that they gave the C60 Evo to lived 90% longer than the control group.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Once again, welcome back to another very special edition of Red Pill News. As always, my name is ZakPaine, the corruption detector. And joining me today are my very good friends from C60 Evo, of course, the makers of ESS60, Chris Burres and Patti Greer. Chris, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing wonderful, Zach. I'm excited to be here. I get to share clinical trial stuff today. So that's super exciting.
I love to geek out on this stuff, so I'm excited to talk about it. And Patti, good to see you back at home. How was the road trip?
You know, I had a hard time going home because it was so nice living in an RV like a nomad and cruising with two generations of family. But yeah, I came back about a week ago, and all of a sudden now I'm like, I don't want to be here. And I've been about Colorado long enough, or the area where I live, because what they're doing with the cell towers, the smart meters, the whole system, and now they're multiplying it. They're adding the flock cameras because there's so much stuff available from other states that finally are growing up and saying, we're not doing this. So we're buying all the chemtrail stuff and all the flock cameras. You know, hey, bring them to Colorado. We'll use it. So I'm packing up my house. And made a huge decision. I mean, come on, I don't know, but I don't plan on living in my RV. I plan on getting a home that's out of the kind of frequency zone that I don't resonate with. And I think it's just because finally my brain's back. Yeah. I've been doing C60 Evo long enough that I'm like, I'm not having brain fog anymore. Not that I have in a while, but now it's like really easy to make decisions. So I'm doing 4 more hours of packing today after the show.
So are you going to stay in Colorado, or are you looking to move out of state?
Truthfully, my kids are still here, so I'm going to move up in the mountains to a town that's not as as taken advantage of. You know, I'm really trying to be nice about Boulder, Colorado, but it's got the qualities of New York City right now, in my opinion. I'm over it.
So are you heading up to Netherland, or are you going to some other small mountain town?
Some other small mountain town. And I'll probably be kind of quiet about it, other than off the show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's even selling my house. It's kind of a difficult thing because there's so many uncouth people here in Colorado. It was kind of But anyway, I love having a healthy, strong brain. And that's what brings us together once a month. But it's funny because last month I told you 3 months ago, I'm going to get an RV and go meet my kids, and I was gone. Then you saw me last month in the RV on the road in Montana. I hung out with Laura Eisenhower twice.
Oh, cool.
I was like, wait a minute, don't you live close? And we looked at the map. I'm like 30 minutes. So we did some filming and we did little videos and got together. It was really nice to see her. And then we went up into Glacier National Park, her backyard.
Beautiful. That is awesome. Good stuff.
So kind of hard to come back to Colorado, where we don't have fires right now in this area that I live in, but it was white for 2 weeks. And everybody's going, oh, smoke. And I'm like, yeah, did you watch the Stripes last night?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just over it. I can tell when I'm like, I shouldn't be complaining. I should be living somewhere where I wake up and go, oh, look at the view.
Yes. You should enjoy it no matter where you end up. So,
everybody.
I'm glad to hear it. Hopefully you'll be able to sell your house quickly. I mean, I know that Boulder is a highly desirable place, so I can't imagine it's going to take you all that long to get out from underneath it. Very, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris? Are you traveling at all? I know that you and your wife are a big. You guys are like frequent flyers on American Airlines or something.
Yeah, no. Well, so it's interesting because we have access to Southwest Airlines here.
Oh, okay.
And I actually typically have a buddy pass where I am my wife's buddy, so I fly for free wherever she goes.
No, cool.
She's orchestrated that perfectly. And you're talking about Glacier National Park. You're talking about Colorado. Just in general, I live in Houston. You can see downtown Houston from 26 miles out.
Wow.
Like it is flat. It is so flat. The highest things are the overpasses. So I'm always a little bit envious of people, who live in these places that have hills and then mountains. That's pretty amazing.
It's pretty flat here in Florida, too. Unfortunately, my uncle passed away recently, and so last week, Lisa and I had to go to the west side of the state to go to a funeral, and everywhere around here, we're at sea level, if not below sea level, and so there's really no variation in the topography. It's basically just flat. There's water. There's green stuff. So all of the foliage kind of stops you from seeing very far. But as you drive around, it's obvious that you're not going up and down. It's not like Michigan. It's not like Colorado. Not even like California. I've lived in all these places where, there are hills, there are mountains, and I definitely do miss that. But, of course, I've got the ocean, and that makes up for it. But when we went out west, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how many hills and how much variation there was. I was not expecting that. I guess on the west side of the state, there's a lot more of that going on than anywhere else. So that was pretty cool. And, obviously it's unfortunate that we had to go for that reason, but it was definitely good to see family and good to reconnect with a bunch of people. And, it just kind of reminds you of what's important. So, I totally understand, Patty, having the opportunity to hang out with your family. My daughter was also in town last week. So although I don't get to travel all that often, it seems like everybody wants to travel to here. So we end up entertaining a couple of times a year. So she was in town for the week. It was her birthday on Sunday. So we did some cool stuff. We did a ghost tour in St. Augustine. I don't know if you guys have ever been to St. Augustine, but it is the oldest continuously occupied settlement in the United States, pretty much the oldest city in the United States. It was settled by the Spanish in like 1620 or something like that. And so there's a whole bunch of, I guess, paranormal stuff that happens there. And we took this bus and we went around and we went to all these supposedly super haunted places. I didn't see any ghosts. That's cool with me. but but it was still neat. It was at nighttime. So, a little bit spooky. But good times. Lots of fun. And looking forward to now probably having no company for the rest of the year. We already told everybody we'll come home for Christmas. You guys don't need to come here this time. I think I would just like to be able to chill out at the house. Besides, I've got my own projects and things that I need to do, and you really can't do that when you've got company. So,
that's what's been on my mind is priorities.
Yeah,
I really feel like when I pulled the RV back across the Colorado state line after a month, I was really working on my priorities, really thinking about what I learned a month away, living in a box with my cat. And it was so wonderful. But when I started thinking about my frustration with what the politicians have done to Colorado, all of a sudden I crossed the border and there's a double rainbow. Oh. And it lasted 40, 50 miles. It kept being there. And I'm driving and I'm thinking, how can a double rainbow still be here 10 miles later? It was an interesting time when I kind of felt myself crack open into priorities. And I think the most important thing is our health.
I would
agree. Above all, mental, physical, spiritual health. And I feel like I'm on the right road. No matter all the different chapters of work I've done my whole life, right now is the first time we actually get thank you letters all the time. Chris and I and the lab, thank you letters, because when you can actually change your situation by something as easy as this, a spoon and a bottle of olive oil with a molecule in it that won the Nobel Prize, no big deal. It is a big deal, but it's 2 ingredients. This has changed my life. And it's why I'm partners with Chris and his 14-year-old partner, Robert, who looks about as old as he does. But they've owned the lab 35 years. Usually I say he's 80. Look how great his skin is. He's so used to me abusing his age. But it's because we're doing a longevity product here that, it's kind of a crack up. My mom at 97, ageless. So yesterday we were on a show with somebody in their 60s, and Chris is in his 50s. He was in his 60s. I'm in my 70s. And I said, my mom's in her 90s, and we've got Alfred Lambert Mount Weber in his 80s. So basically, all of us are really hyper productive on C60 Evo. And Alfred just finished another novel at 84 years old. So I kind of feel like we're a little unstoppable. And I don't care about the science. I care about how it works. But I do care about the science because I want to know it's good what I'm putting on a spoon in 30 seconds and taking at the top of this show. You guys up for a shot?
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right.
I've kind of looked forward to this moment because it just gets me going more for the day. Chris will tell you why. Cheers.
All right, cheers.
All right. So I, too, care about the science, not Fauci science, but actual science. And from what I understand, you guys are gearing up to do a number of scientific studies related to C60 Evo, ESS 60, and the effects on people from a number of different perspectives. What can you tell us about that, Chris?
Yeah, well, let me pull up this slide. This is kind of the summary slide of what we're going to be doing research on: frequent and severe headaches, HSCRP, that stands for high sensitivity C-reactive protein. I'm going to kind of dive into these a little bit more on some other slides. A formalized sleep quality trial, and then this is called glow and age spots. Really, we're thinking more in terms of wrinkle and age spots. All because of this ESS60 molecule. So just real quick, this molecule was discovered in 1985 at Rice University. The three scientists who discovered it, Dr. Smalley, Dr. Curl, and Dr. Kroto, actually won the Nobel Prize for that discovery in 1996. Our company, our lab, started manufacturing this molecule 5 years before they were awarded the Nobel Prize. So in 1991, we started manufacturing and distributing this molecule. We are the oldest and longest manufacturer and distributor of this molecule on the planet. Actually, I'm going to skip to this. The molecule, they thought for various reasons that it would be toxic. They put it in a toxicity study. It's called the Patti study. That's out of the University of Paris. Instead of being toxic, the test subject that they gave the C60 Evo to lived 90% longer than the control group. A couple interesting things on this slide. A typical Wistar rat lives out to about 32 months, has a known amount of tumor mass. So the longer they live, the more tumor mass they have in their body. Even though the C60 Evo rats lived out to 62 months, again, 90% longer than the control group, none of them had any tumors. A really spectacular result. We do believe that that is because of the Boss theory. So let's jump into the Boss theory. So the thing that gives all theories, they're scientific theories. They stick out there and, they just kind of stand the test of time. That's how scientific theories work. But you also, what gives credibility to this theory? Is it just some, pie in the sky idea, or is there some science behind it? So we know from peer-reviewed published research, this ESS60 molecule gets into the mitochondria. We also know from way back in the 90s, this molecule can hold up to 6 negatively charged particles on the exterior of the cage. So here's what that looks like. And quick refresher, your mitochondria is the powerhouse of every cell. There's between 50 and 5,000 mitochondria in every cell in your body, except for your blood cells, which have 0, and your brain and neurons, which have 2 million. It is amazing how much energy our nervous system uses relative to our other systems. By the way, it's worth pausing here. Our most consistent testimonial is people take the product in the morning, they report mental focus and energy during the day, and better sleep at night. If you think about mental focus and energy and sleep, all mentally related, so this is addressing the mitochondria, where the mitochondria are the most abundant, 2 million per neuron in your brain. The mitochondria is the powerhouse, and like every powerhouse you're familiar with, there is a negative byproduct. You think about a car going down the road, it's got exhaust. You think about a power plant, it's got a smokestack with smoke. In the case of mitochondria, it is reactive oxygen species. These are negatively charged particles that, if they're left to their own devices, they run around your body, and everything they smack into, they cause rust, oxidative stress, oxidative damage. which is bad. And internal to your mitochondria, you actually have the antioxidants, glutathione and melatonin, to manage those reactive oxygen species. Important to note the melatonin here, it is the sleep hormone. Our most consistent testimonial involves sleep. So nice parallels in where these things are interacting. So here in a healthy mitochondria, you can see the reactive oxygen species are this beautiful pale blue color because they've bonded with glutathione or bonded with melatonin. They're not running around like little bumper cars. And that's in a healthy mitochondria. But what happens when you stress a mitochondria? This, of course, begs the question, how do you stress a mitochondria? I like to point out, if you're alive in modern society, you have stressed mitochondria. Smoking, drinking, smog, EMF radiation off of your cell phone, stressful emails, stressful conversations, you have stressed mitochondria in modern society. And then it starts producing more reactive oxygen species than can be managed by the internal glutathione and melatonin. So you see some of them, this nice baby blue color, that are being managed by that glutathione and melatonin. And then others that aren't managed, this is when they start running around like little bumper cars, causing all of that stress. And that's where the ESS60 molecule comes in. Peer-reviewed published research shows it's in the mitochondria. Way back in the 90s, we can know it can hold up to 6 negatively charged particles. So here it is holding on to those bumper cars so they don't run around and do any damage. And then when that mitochondria can replenish the glutathione, replenish the melatonin, then it can manage those reactive oxygen species appropriately. And that is why we say that this ESS60 molecule is the boss buffering oxidative stress system. And ultimately, we believe we're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria. And if you reduce the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, given the fact that you got 50 to 5,000 mitochondria in every cell in your body, 2 million in your brain cells, you're going to have systemic benefits. You're going to have head-to-toe testimonials. And those testimonials are the things that are driving these particular studies that we're going to get into a little bit more detail here shortly. But I know Patti likes to kind of break down this boss theory kind of more simply.
For people that don't speak these big long words of melatonin and glutathione and all these other things, the oxidative stress, basically what we're talking about is detoxing your system from head to toe. The brain being the most work because you've got 2 million of these mitochondria in your brain cells and of each brain cell. And so when you have a product like this that directly goes to clean the mitochondria, to detox the crud, your brain is going to be the first to notice. The rest of your body is 50 to 5,000 mitochondria per cell compared to 2 million. So needless to say, your brain is going to notice a lot more quickly, which I think is the most important because your brain operates all your systems. So it's a good thing. And it's simply detoxification.
Now, Chris, just out of curiosity, after the ESS60 molecule bonds these reactive oxygen species to them inside the mitochondria, are they then excreted from the mitochondria and then leave the body through natural processes? I mean, they don't just like lock up and then hold them there.
Well, great question, right? Because you see here, oh, it's bonded, and you might think, right, because we haven't changed the color of these red negatively charged reactive oxygen species to blue because it's just holding on to them, right? So they're still haven't bonded with glutathione and melatonin. It is that buffering system so that it holds on to them, kind of like a bucket. Hey, I've got this extra garbage. Let me throw it in the bucket until the garbage man actually shows up, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're as you have stressed mitochondria, you're overwhelming the garbage man. This ESS60 molecule is that bucket that keeps it local. And then when that mitochondria can replenish the glutathione, replenish the melatonin, then it could come and take that bucket off of your hands. And we also know that so in the literature and also in our testimonials, we have testimonials where things change at about 10 days, or they actually revert back to how they were before they started taking the product in about 10 days. And that coincides with the literature where this molecule is excreted out of your system in about 10 days.
Okay, excellent. Now, going back to the slides here. So the next study that you have here is the frequent and severe headaches study that you guys are going to be doing?
Yes. Yeah, we're excited. I'm actually kind of most excited about this one, just because of my own testimonial, right? So I used to get 4 to 5 headaches per year. I had a severe headaches. Like these are the ones that you go in a room. It's got to be quiet. It's got to be dark. And I used to get 4 to 5 a year. And I am the geeky guy in front of you. I actually have a spreadsheet back to 2014 tracking these 4 to 5 per year, and when I started taking this product on a regular basis in 2018, I didn't get a single migraine, frequent and severe headache, for 18 months. So I should have had 6 or 7 at that point. When I did finally get one, it was because I actually joined the sleep study that we've already completed. And that sleep study was a crossover study where you have to collect data when you're not on the product, collect data when you're on it, and then back off of it, and then back on it. So I went off the product in order to collect data about my sleep while I'm not on the product, and that's when I got my first migraine. So you can imagine I'm not looking forward to any sort of sleep study ever anytime soon. Like this is a first thing that goes into my luggage when I'm traveling. Like it is that important.
Yeah.
We also have testimonies. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the same thing for me, too. I mean, I used to get, probably once a month, I would have a severe headache, and I mean, for me, I also have to close all the blinds. I got to turn all the lights off. I got to lay down. I've got to, put ice packs on my head and basically just, take medication until I fall asleep. And then hopefully when I wake up, everything is going to be okay. But thank God, I haven't had a migraine or a severe headache since I started taking this.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I never had them, but the lady that works with my mom 5 days a week told me just a year ago that she has to get a shot every 3 months because they're so severe. And I sent her a bottle of the C60 Evo oil, and she hasn't had one since.
Very good. Very, very good.
So this coincidence that we're talking about is so astounding in the testimonials that's why we're doing a study on extreme headaches. It's because we've had this many testimonials. And imagine how many people in your audience go through this. I mean, for me, it's about energy and coming back from what I've been through. But for a lot of people that have these monster headaches, if it does nothing else, but it does, this is one of the great things that could be a benefit.
Yep.
Yeah, certainly.
And that's what's driving this research. So that, I mean, literally just last week, I had been interacting with one of our customers, and she shared that she couldn't exercise. Like when she exercises, it causes these headaches. Got the product like right away, like first day, she was able to exercise for 12 minutes, and just wrote this note. And you can feel in the note like how excited she was that she's able to actually get exercise and run in this case, jog in this case. So yeah, that's the reason that we're doing this frequent and severe headache clinical trial. And I will point out, the FDA, this is the disclaimer, the FDA has not evaluated our product. It is not intended to treat, diagnose, prevent, or cure any disease. We're working on being able to talk about it. That's why we're doing these clinical trials. So driven by this research, and we're just sharing the testimonials that are driving the research. The next one that we're doing is HSCRP. So HSCRP stands for high sensitivity C-reactive protein. It is an inflammatory marker, so it really is a good indication of how inflamed your system is. We know inflammation is bad. There's actually a word called inflammaging, because inflammation is aging, and we do have to be very careful when we talk about inflammation. But when we can actually have results on specific HSCRP markers, that's going to be really valuable. The reason we put this together is because we had a practitioner with a pool of patients, and he reported that he said this: I don't care if you're male, female, pre-surgery, post-surgery, cardiovascular disease, or otherwise healthy. Your product is reducing HSCRP numbers as high as 9 down to normal range, which is actually below 1. So in this particular case, he was sharing with me down to 0.9 in 4 to 8 weeks. Additionally, you can see here improvements in sleep and HRV. So of course, sleep, good for your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. That's the next study we're going to talk about. HRV is heart rate variability. It's kind of a measure of your physiology its ability to manage stress. So you definitely want to see improvements there. And he's saying between 20 and 60% improvements in sleep and HRV on like an Oura Ring or a Whoop device. So that's what's driving this. Also, there is a clinical trial that came out, a peer-reviewed published trial that came out last year on beagles, reducing HSCRP in beagles. So this is highly likely to be a successful clinical trial. Next is sleep. What's driving this is our most consistent testimonial. Just over and over and over again, we get mental focus and energy during the day, better sleep at night. We actually did an ad hoc study. So this is just a survey study. Again, blue is the bar, which represents 10 days of data prior to taking the product. Red, 10 days of data when they were on the product. Yellow, 10 days of data when they went back off the product. And then green when they went back on the product. The most important piece is a small cohort, but the most important piece is 100% of the participants reported improvements in their sleep when they were on the product. And so we want to do a more formalized version of that, larger cohort. So that's what's driving that. And even there's some situations, this probably happened in the last couple months, where I've gotten some product to somebody, had a conversation with them, and they're like, oh, I haven't really noticed anything. And then I ask them, well, hey, how are your dreams? And their eyes get like Bambi big because they're like, oh, I'm remembering my dreams again. And that, we believe, is an indication of supporting confirmation of the boss theory, and also why we're driving this particular study.
Well, certainly, for people who do not get to the proper brainwave entrainment while they're sleeping, they're not even going to have the opportunity to dream. And then people won't be able to remember them because nothing's happening. They're basically just staying in this sort of low-level, non-quality type of sleep.
Yeah. Well, what we think is going on, right? You get about 5 to 7 sleep cycles every night, typically. And your sleep cycle has to do a couple things. I kind of think of it like a checklist. One of the things on the checklist is clean out your mitochondria, so physiological things. Get rid of lactic acid in your muscles if you're kind of sore, that type of thing. The next is emotional management, right? So that is the dream state that happens when you're in REM sleep. And then memory consolidation, right? So that you remember things the next day. And all we're thinking that is driving this remembering the dreams is the fact that the mitochondria is already taken care of, so you can check that and move on to the next thing, right? So if you don't have to deal with it because it's been managed throughout the day with this boss theory, with this kind of bucket, then you can actually go on to the next things in each of those sleep cycles. So we think that's what's driving that.
Very cool.
And the last one is always fun. It's called Glow and Age Spot study here. Really, it's a wrinkle and age spot study. We've got a two-parter. So this is a peptide lotion. UTH29 is the name of the peptide. And then we've got the ESS60 activator. We've kept them separate because the peptide is water soluble and the ESS60 molecule is oil soluble. We could have shoved these together with a chemical called emulsifiers, like a class called emulsifiers. But emulsifiers don't sound healthy at all. And if you Google them, they're not. They're actually detrimental. So we wanted as few emulsifiers as possible. So we kept this separate. You actually do 1 squirt of the lotion, 2 drops of the activator, and activate it right there in the palm of your hand. And we're getting such amazing testimonials and interest in this that we're doing a wrinkle and age spot study.
Well, that's certainly something that I think everybody has on their mind when you reach a certain age. It's obviously very, very important to people. And anything you can do to try to improve your look and the quality of your skin without having to resort to dramatic things, I think that's a wonderful thing to do.
And your wife feels so good on the inside if you're not going to look great on the outside also.
Yeah, totally.
The funny thing that I notice with all the shows that we do is that all the men that we work with love our face and body formulas. So it's not actually a female product that we do all these facial serums. We sell as many to men. And Chris loves modeling, and look at his skin. I mean, he's got beautiful skin. Pretty much everybody we work with does, including my mom at 97. Has remarkable skin. The thing that scares me is that she also has a remarkable memory. And, at 97, she still tells me what I did at 14. And I was complimenting her that she still like is functioning at 97, let alone memory like that, reads a novel this thick every week. And she said, well, I didn't abuse my body like you did. And she went down a list of things that I've done. And I just went, oh God, no, Mom, you're supposed to be old and, start getting dementia. And she's like, yeah, I'm not interested. So it was pretty funny being reminded of some of my reasons why, my body's been through a few things more than hers. And who knows if I'll make it to 97. But now that I've got this product, I decided that I should go with a really big bottle to help myself get to my 90s. So
the super duper,
the head size bottle, yeah. And a straw that goes straight to morning, like wake up and go.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Get the product right. And real quick, last slide. We think of a journey on the product as a 3-month journey. Month 1 really is about focus and energy. That's one of our most consistent testimonials. Month 2, about deeper sleep. I've already mentioned people were like, oh, I haven't noticed anything until you ask them about their dreams. And then all of a sudden they do remember that they've noticed something. And month 3, when you think about reducing the negative impact of stress mitochondria, you should have these systemic benefits. And we actually have testimonials that are so powerful, we can't share them yet. And that's why we're driving these clinical trials. So excited. We are a very, very weird supplement company in the best possible way. Most supplement companies don't do research, even fewer publish. We actually published in 2024, 2025. We'll be publishing here in 2026. So yeah, we are that weird company that's continuing to do research to support the testimonials that we're getting so that eventually someday that we can share them directly with the consumers.
Good. That's great. I mean, obviously, there are so many different supplement companies out there, many of them making claims that they certainly can't back up. And for you guys are very cautious about the way that you talk about it. And I find that to be pretty noble, and definitely looking forward to seeing how the results end up on all of these.
Well, it took some work. In the first year, Chris and I did shows. He had a shock collar, and he's in Texas, so it was really every time I say something wrong, But yeah, now that we've been doing it for a few years, he's gone kind of woo-woo spiritual, and I've got all sciencey. And when I said I don't care about the science, I didn't really mean that, because needless to say, we are all about the science.
Yes.
And I think that's what we're really proud of. And now that we're getting such consistent testimonials about these 4 things in particular, I've lived through all of them. I mean, my friends don't even remember 2 years ago, I had 2 hip replacements, but 3 months later, you couldn't tell. This stuff lubricated my joints and bones so well that I recovered at the speed of light. And I lasted 2 years longer than I ever should have, bone on bone. But I was so well lubricated with the Evo that I was just fine. I wasn't in pain until I was. And then I was like, oh, Uncle. But I recovered so quickly, and I don't even think about it. It's really nice to have a body that flows. And, we're in a challenging time, in a challenging world. But I think the most important thing for each and every one of us is to clear the crap out of our brains and get back to reality, because we have spun into a parallel universe with a bunch of wackos. And it is one of the reasons I'm moving out of the Boulder area. I just can't deal with the DEI nonsense. Mm-hmm. I can be polite, but I'd rather be happy.
Yeah.
I'd rather be motivated by the people that I see in the store that check me out at the grocery. I want to be motivated rather than just patient. When the guys are wearing dresses and pearls, I'm just like, I'm over Boulder. And I think there's, probably a lot of unbelievable places to see in the country. So who knows how long I'll be trekking in the RV with a cat. Once the house, I'm thinking, pods, I'm going to load everything in. So I've got total freedom for a little while. But no matter what, I got my extra large Starlink roaming. I will be on the air with you once a month. Don't worry, Chris. no matter what planet I go to. I don't know. Um, I'm going to be promoting Evo and having it in my front and back pocket because, like Chris said, he doesn't go anywhere without it. Some of our influencers, we've gotten a good chuckle. They're like, I guess just Alfred Lampermont Weber, 84. He said, "Oh, I've done it for years. I think I'll chill back and maybe not have any for some months." 10 days later, he calls, he says, "I'm going to double my dose." Oh my God, did I miss it? And it's not like it's addictive. It's just really nice when you feel good and present rather than achy and crabby and can't remember anything. It's, man, this and this is all you need. Two ingredients. I'm in love.
It's good stuff. Very, very good stuff.
So,
All right, Chris. So, as always, you guys have special offers for the audience, exclusively for viewers of Red Pill News.
we do. This you will not find it on our website. So go to what looks like our website /c60evo.com/redpill78, and you'll pull up this exact page. And if you go down a little ways, you're going to see 3 special offers. And we're flying past a secret link that if you tap that, you'll get a discount at checkout. That's only Zach's code. But we're offering a 2-pack, which is a couple months of product, and we'll send it every 2 months if you sign up for a subscription, or you can do a one-time purchase. A 3-pack is what we kind of recommend because it's a 3-month process where you're going to get the maximum results. Although most people get maximum results in the first week, they're like, "Oh my God, I feel everything that you're talking about." But 3 months is a nice rounded number. And a 6-pack, you can start to be generous, stash it in your closet, keep it for yourself, or share it with people you care about. So you're going to save money the more you buy. The best deal of all is the monthly subscription where you'll save 25%. But these special deals and single items, if you sign up for a monthly subscription, we will send it to you regularly, and you will save money on each order. So the three things that are our top sellers is the olive oil you just saw. And when people say, "Where do I start with your products?" we suggest what we call the Inside Out Starter Set. As Chris said, if you're going to be taking the oil and feeling better, why not glow your skin up? So we've got 2 different facial serums, but we're offering the special on the single bottle, which is all natural. So these 2 together, you will notice a difference, and maybe people outside you will as well. You'll save money if you get 2-pack or 3-pack or 6-pack. Sign up for a monthly subscription with any of them. You'll save even more than what you see there. And the best deal of all is a case of 12, 25% off, and use Zach's code. For people that don't like the taste of oil or people that travel, you'll want to get the capsules because they're effortless. And they will not take it out of your luggage at the TSA, but they might take your oil bottle out.
Yeah.
So we recommend this for people that travel. You can put them in a briefcase, a purse, your glove box. Just keep it out of direct sun or they'll lose their potency, and away from direct heat, like an oven or a hot window. Again, same reason. And they'll last a good long time. So 2 special, 3 special, 6 special. And again, if you sign up for a monthly subscription, you will save even more. And the best deal of all is the cases. So check it out. And further down the landing page, you'll see testimonials. This page here, testimonials, single bottles, and all kinds of information about our oil. It's only 2 ingredients, but it's not generic oil. It is cold pressed, extra virgin organic olive oil from a specific farm in Tunisia. So we are very careful sourcing our products, and you're going to notice when you taste it, oh my gosh, that's real olive oil. Super delicious.
Yes, it is super high quality. Very, very good.
And I will mention again, for those of you that really spoil yourselves and your pets, the big bottle is a really nice way to go, and then you don't run out or worry about UPS or FedEx not showing up. And you did mention, somebody mentioned the pets in one of our slides. We have the cat oil and the dog oil because if you're going to improve your health, you're certainly going to want to keep your pets away from the vet as much as possible. And like Chris says, when people say, oh, does it help the kidney? Does the kidney have mitochondria? Does it help the heart? Same question. Does it help my pets? Are they made of mitochondria like you? Pretty much. So it's about detoxing your system head to toe.
Yes, I still give it to Muffin and Chi-Chi on a daily basis with their food, and they are as spry as ever. Chi-Chi's slowed down a lot. He's got a heart murmur. I can't stop that, but Muffin, she's actually lost like 9 pounds in the last like 6 months. I cut back on the number of treats that I was giving her, and it made a noticeable difference. But yeah, I'm glad that I did because she's a small dog. She's got those like the long body with the short legs, and dogs like that, can tend to get spinal issues. And I wanted to make sure that she would be as healthy as possible for as long as she possibly could be. So both doing great.
Awesome. We love our furry friends.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right. Well, thank you guys again for being here. Really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing where these studies go. Everybody out there in the audience, the information that Patti and Chris were talking about is in the description of this video right there beneath the title. You see it down there in the box. And the link again was c60evo.com/redpill78. When you use that code redpill78, you will get an extra discount on your order. And of course, when you sign up for a subscription, if for some reason you don't like it, they're very cool and you can call them and cancel it. But I have found that the vast majority of people who do would prefer to keep the savings because they get exactly what they're hoping to get out of the products. So thank you both for being here. I really appreciate it.
Did you notice my Vanna White move?
Now that you say it, I did. Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to laugh at myself later.
All right. All right. Anything final before we close out?
No, one thing that's pretty spectacular about pets is the testimonials we get about pets, right? Because anybody listening to this and this is new, they should be thinking, hey, I wonder what part of this is placebo, because placebo applies to everything.
Yeah.
It applies to medications. It applies to the food you eat. If you convince yourself doing a curl will not build a muscle, you will actually win and you will not build a muscle. That's how powerful placebo is. But there is no placebo with pets.
No.
Right? Ironically, they're not smart enough to know they got their little dropper full and today they're supposed to have more energy. No, they just act the way they feel.
Yeah, it's very true.
I'm going to one up that and say there's no placebo with Evo. That's what I'm saying.
I like the rhyme.
Excellent. All right. Well, guys, until next time, I look forward to seeing you again, and I hope you both have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, you too.
All right. We'll see you.